I'm actually astonished with both images. It feels weird to actually be seen. I haven't been seen for weeks.
Yes.
It's disturbing for any viewer now.
It's a good and bad thing.
Yeah. I actually had both. I sent you the thing where we both got the picture things, just in case, so that was quite intriguing. So welcome back to another discussion of the Decalogue.
Yes.
We're on the Decalogue 5 and 6, which are the ones that were made into films. A short film about killing, a short film about love. A short film about killing was episode 5, and a short film about love was episode 6.
Yes.
We're talking about the Decalogue though. I have intentionally not watched the films again, even though I've seen them. From memory, I remember having seen both. I prefer the short versions of both of them.
Yeah, I mean, a short film about killing just really has extra scenes in it. There's nothing dramatically different, and a short film about love just has a slightly different ending, which was actually suggested by the lead actress because she wanted a slightly different ending.
So what was the ending then that was changed?
When she looks through the telescope that Tomek has been spying on her with, and she sees herself from that night where she spills the milk and she's upset, and Tomek is actually with her and he comforts her, essentially. So it's a kind of magic realism ending and a slightly more upbeat fairy tale ending, which the actress kind of suggested that she kind of preferred. And that's really the only difference. But it's a fairly...
Alright.
But I prefer the short ones as well, to be honest.
I just remember when I saw them, I just liked the short ones better. To me, they seemed to have more impact on me.
Yeah.
So will I start talking about the first one again, and then you do the second one, just plot description, just...
Yep, on you go.
Because actually I think this time I get the harder one than you did. And you're doing... for a change. Normally I kind of rig it so you get the worst one to talk about and I get the easy one, but this one I think
they're both fairly straightforward.
I know, but yeah. So the first one, Decalogue 5, is about I think he's this young man. He's a kind of he's disenfranchised from the world. He's disconnected. You don't know why, but he's just disconnected. You can tell something's off from him. You're following him through the area around about the flats from every other area, but you see him in town a lot more. You see him interacting with people. He just feels disconnected. At the same time, you also see a prosecutor preparing an argument. He's very nervous. And you've also seen this taxi driver who's going through his life, and he's a bit of a scumbag. He looks up girls' skirts. He's just a nasty person. Yeah. Halfway through the film, the young man gets attacked with this taxi driver. And he's been preparing something. He's been buying rope and things, and once they're outside the city, he kills the taxi driver with a rope in a very clumsy way. He ends up having to brutally drop a stone on his head. Then we cut at that point onto the trial, and basically he's already been found guilty and it's a sentence, and turned out the lawyer you saw is preparing a defence to avoid him getting the death penalty, which fails, and this guy going to death penalty. And you see the lawyer and the leading up to the death penalty being executed, and he's talking to the young man, and the young man finally talks about what's driving him. Yes. And at the end, the young man is executed. That's essentially the story. Spoilers, he dies. But I think it's pretty obvious early on he's going to die. Yes. I think this one is... this one's the one where it's like you don't really need spoilers in this one. This one is like it's kind of like Dead Ringers in a way that you know from the off that this is going to end really badly. It's like there's a tone to it that tells you this is going to end so badly. Yes. And the picture we've got here, you actually can see the taxi driver and pulled out the young man. That's the picture we're going with for this video.
Excellent.
So we're and it's shot with gels and things to make it very kind of distant. And this is the most like unnaturalistic film. It's been shot in a way that distance you from reality a bit more, even though it's still a realistic based story. It's more stylized than any other one. But not
it's also quite oppressive, the way the filter is used as well.
Yeah, I mean, it sets a mood up that David Fincher seemed to fall in love with. Like, David Fincher's definitely seen this film.
Yeah.
There's no way he's not seen this film. Basically,
yes, it's certainly the dirtiest and the grimiest and the bleakest one of the Decalogues.
7 was a lot to this film, but,
yes.
but it's nowhere near as good. It's like taking this style and putting it on a pulpy B movie.
Yeah.
Is basically what 7 is. But yeah, this is the one I remember most from seeing it 10 years ago. Probably because I've seen the film as well, but this one's very stark.
Yes.
It's actually the most Bressonian one, where it's just to the point. There's nothing elaborated on. It's just people talking, and no one's talking in a way that's unnatural. Nothing's been extended to have like a melodramatic element. It's just like people talking quietly.
It's very matter of fact, and the fact that it shows you 2 killings and they're both as clumsy and awkward and messy. You know, some films which have executions in them, you know, it's very polite and it's very staged and it's very kind of perfect, whereas the executions the murder and the executions in this are not clean and nice and ordered. They're just messy and clunky and
it's a disaster. The murder was a disaster, but it also shows how hard it is to kill somebody, which if you're watching movies nowadays, people get killed in the most basic ways. Like, I just watched John Wick 3 with people getting shot in the head constantly. It's very comic booky. This one,
this is horrible.
Yeah, this one, it takes so long to put someone down because people don't want to die and are going to struggle as much as they can. And this guy's not prepared for what happens. He's just unprepared for how hard it is to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And it just shows, it makes you realise how the loss of life by showing how hard it is to destroy a life, actually how difficult physically, how impossible it is to actually do this. And you really feel the tension involved of trying to get this done. It's so hard.
Yeah, and when you see the kind of minutiae of the guy who does the executions, kind of before it, he oils the pulley and then obviously he puts the basin under the trap door, because obviously when you get executed you lose body fluids. Which sometimes in films is kind of skirted round and it's all very clean, but it's not clean. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's kind of like someone's done this before and he's like, I'm not cleaning up, I'm just going to do the basics to get this done as cleanly as possible. He doesn't care. It's like, it's another day of the job for him. It's like, this is what I do. So it just showed the function of the person they're killing in 2 different aspects. You see the state execution and you see the personal execution. Even though it's impersonal, he doesn't know the person. It's just to do it because he's very disturbed and he's traumatised by the death of his sister, who was run over by a tractor, which is actually the most horrible thought in the film. It's like, after seeing the deaths of that guy, then when he mentions his sister killed by a tractor, you're like, oh god, how hard would that be?
Fact also that he's got guilt because he and his friend were drinking and then his friend got in the tractor and then killed his sister. So he's carrying that guilt as well.
Yeah, but it's also the fact is they've set up how hard it is to kill someone not long before. They actually put stuff in your head that's much more disturbing than it would be normally in a film like this, because you've just seen how hard it is and how they kind of crunch in the bodies and stuff like that. And he's talking about his, what is it, 10-year-old sister or something like that? She's very young.
12.
It's like, it's really horrible. And it showed you how that could mess someone up and how they could have a weird view of mortality and how it works and how they could I think it could work on them.
It's just one of the best films about capital punishment, because you're pretty much going to, depending on what you think of it, you're going to come away from the film with that view. Kieślowski doesn't colour your view. He just shows you two killings. So if you think capital punishment's good, you'll go, oh well, he got what he deserved. If you think capital punishment's bad, you'll think, well, they're just as horrible, both deaths, and what difference does it really make? So you're going to come away with whatever you think. Kieślowski doesn't tell you what the right view is.
Yeah, it's very complicated. It's not. There's no. Because any death penalty movie, usually it's so simplistic, it's embarrassing.
Yes.
And
Last Dance with Sharon Stone.
I've managed to avoid that one. Did you watch that one?
Not all the way through. It's terrible.
Alright, yeah, I avoided it. I could tell by the cover not to watch
Yes.
it. But yeah, it's a very haunting film because it is about the mechanics of life and death in a way that, and you just get little pinpoints of humanity throughout it, but they're all there and all kind of add up. I find there's something. You're just seeing people dealing with life and death as that's their occupation or that's their obsession, but it's not. There's no metaphysical elements until the end, and even then it's like two people talking who are trying to grasp it. It's not like they've any great philosophy about it, they're just trying to make sense of it.
Yes, and also when people make similar films, they sometimes fall into the trap of having like an innocent person who didn't do the crime then is executed, whereas obviously we're showing detail this guy did it, and also we see simplistic, the victim is completely innocent, whereas this guy is actually a bit of a scumbag.
Yeah, no, the guy is.
So there's more complexity going on.
Yeah, it's almost like the ending that they play a parody is the worst version of this movie. Maybe the player, they running up and saving her at the end type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of the parody of what the worst version this could possibly be.
Yes.
And this is something different. Yeah, I mean, the guy's a scumbag that dies. He's the most hateful person in the film by a mile.
Yes.
He's a total pervert. You're just going, ooh, you're just watching him.
Well, I think that's why Kieślowski's so good. He doesn't simplify it to, an innocent victim and, a wronged person getting executed.
Yeah, he's a grown-up about it. He's like, this is complicated. This is not your easy way to do it. This is something that's difficult.
Yeah.
And you have to allow for that. That's just the way it is. That's the way life is. And in real life, people are so shades of grey. Like, the killer's the actual most sympathetic person in the film by the end of it. But it's not in a simplistic way. It's like, you feel for him, but you also know he's guilty as hell. He did it. There's no point of view. There's no denying it.
I mean, there's nice little touches, when he chases pigeons or he slowly edges a rock off a motorway overpass.
I know.
So there's little things like that in the build-up to the actual killing.
Yeah, because he's a bomb ready to explode. He shouldn't be locked up. He should be taken away from society. He has some real problems.
Yeah.
It's obviously no one's paid attention to him and no one's sort of given him the help to try and get over this and not do this. So it's obviously a societal fault of just leaving him to crack up. And after that, they just kill him.
Yeah, and again, it's another example of Kieślowski being political but without talking about politics. Just again, the oppression, obviously the filter, the way it's shot helps, and obviously just the kind of showing society the way it's kind of broken down.
Yeah, it's a total mess in this film. The film feels like it's society has just gone to hell, but it's not. It's just a different view from a different point of view. You're still seeing people from their stories within this society, so it's showing you how cinema can adjust things from different points of view. So you're thinking that's a whole world, and it's not. It's a part of the world. But he's obviously been left alone to suffer, and he hasn't the help he needs. So it's led to violence, which happens in a lot of societies. People just forget about the crazies and try and let's not think about it too much.
Yeah. And again, we have slight crossover the couple from episode 2 turn up to try and get a lift from the taxi driver.
Oh yeah.
And also
he's a total dick about it as well.
Yes. And of course, the kind of blank-faced guy who appears in quite a few episodes, he's actually in it twice, which I only noticed when I watched it recently. Okay, so Decalogue 6 features Tomek, who's a young man who is essentially a peeping Tom who has a telescope trained on the building opposite him on the housing estate.
So he's lost his body double.
Yes, or at a rear window.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't resist, sorry.
Yes, that's absolutely fine. And he works in the post office, so peeping's not enough for him. He wants a little bit of contact with her, so he puts false money notices into her letterbox. He takes on a milk round so he can deliver milk to her. At the beginning of the film, we think it's merely a sexual obsession, but it kind of develops that it's a bit more than that. She discovers that he's doing it, and is originally angry, and, for example, gets one of her boyfriends to essentially come and beat him up. But she is more and more curious about him, and she invites him in, and essentially brings him to sexual gratification.
It's an erotic thriller. It's Basic Instinct.
And he is just humiliated by this and disappears for one reason or another, and then she becomes more obsessed with him. So that's kind of sort of the simple story arc, but it is a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, we've already spoiled the last one, so we'll just keep going.
Yeah. Well, he essentially is so humiliated by this that he slashes his wrists, so he's taken away in an ambulance, and then she becomes more fascinated with him.
Yeah. So she becomes a voyeur.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's, again, along with Decalogue 5, this is the one that I remember the most, but again, that's probably because I saw the longer version, short film about love. It is complicated, and I don't know about you, but we've always had a woman that you're perhaps fascinated with that you never actually have any contact with, and you kind of imagine and fantasize what it would be like to be with that woman.
Yeah, most males have that at some point.
Yeah, bordering before you start stalking.
Come on, we go straight into stalking.
Yeah, but this is just...
This is Scotland.
Beautiful. Yeah, this is Scotland. Yeah, this is beautifully kind of underplayed because Tomek has no experience with women, and this is kind of the only contact he has, whereas Magda, the woman, the general idea is she has had rather a lot of lovers, but it kind of brings up the question of what exactly is love in comparison to just sex, just for that 10 seconds of orgasm compared with what actually is love.
Yeah. But I don't think either of them really know what love is, though. I think both of them have very...
Yeah.
Both of them
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, both of them have problems. It's almost like we're kind of go off in two different directions and not be healthy in either direction. Like she's replaced love with sex to avoid dealing with people.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to deal with people. She'd rather be alone and just have quick alliances every so often. And he kind of elevates people so much that it's not even a person anymore. No one can live up to what is in his head.
Yeah, I mean, he's really isolated. He actually lives with his friend's mother because his friend's off in the army, so he only has kind of one friend. and we actually learned that his friend used to peep on her as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been passed down.
But body double again.
Yeah, it's kind of... but it kind of speaks to Kieślowski, the fact that bizarrely it doesn't come across as creepy.
It does.
Whereas in the hands of somebody else it could be really creepy, the fact that he takes letters from her.
I think that is creepy. I think you and I have I know, but I think your version of creepy and my version of creepy is two different things. We're finding out.
Yes.
You should never work in the post office.
No. Probably not a good idea.
What?
Probably not a good idea.
No. I thought it was creepy. I just thought it was like, what are you doing? Like, some part of your brain should know this is not right. No matter how...
Yes.
Like, how far you've gone, you should know this. But it also... It shows...
That's just obsession.
I know, but also, no one gives a shit in this movie.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
one cares about what he's doing. Unless she prods someone, no one cares. Unless it's the woman who he stays with. And even then, she's just wanting him to find someone.
Yes.
Really. But,
yeah, I mean, that's an odd situation in itself.
It is, but it's also the one act of kindness in that story. Actually, it's odd. She did it for some reason for herself because she didn't live with herself, but it's still kinder than anything else that happens. This is the one bit of kindness in the story.
Yes.
So, but because this story, even the kindness needs to have some weirdness to it.
Yes.
I'm just trying to avoid bringing up every perverted thing of this story because it feels like
he does. He calls the gas board to her apartment while she's having sex with somebody.
I know, that was so funny.
Which I suppose is.
Are you going to say it's reasonable? Are you going to say that?
That's perfectly understandable.
Yeah.
At least he didn't cause a gas leak. See the difference? There's a fine line between stupid and clever.
Yeah. This is Spinal Tap 101.
He didn't actually set a gas leak, he just...
reported it.
Yes.
For all we know, there might have been a gas leak, he just didn't know that.
Yes.
But that's bollocks. Yeah, so yeah. He is a very sympathetic character, but he is kind of... He's
also don't, you don't hate him or anything. You do have some sympathy for him.
But it's also kind of funny because Kieślowski goes pretty far with him. Like, Kieślowski really puts far, but he also remembers the humanity of him as well. It's not just a joke about how perverted the guy can be. And the way some of the boydom was a joke about the character, this one's much more darker and it's much more kind to the character.
Because again, at the start we think it's just about sex, but we actually find out he's not actually interested in that after a while, because obviously it starts out that way. But after a while,
I never thought he was ever. I thought there was something that was too...
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way my mind worked. I just thought he's just so idealistic with this. It's like you could tell that that was beyond his kind of
yeah,
range.
I mean, he says he started that way.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point where he wasn't actually interested in that. He was more about this idea of love and what that is.
Yeah. Maybe I always just felt he was more like that anyway. I always felt even when he was telling himself he was doing that, I think he was more going towards the romantic side. But it's still a nice grey area of how far did he go, how far did he really go in her. And she's really interested. I think he's interested. I think she's much more fascinating because she's like a more damaged person and how she's actually using life. She's got lots of excuses for where her life's gone. She's working somewhere, she's an artist, she works to be herself, but she's obviously distant from people in a way that is unhealthy for her.
And like you said, she's pretty much just used to sexual relationships, and perhaps it's been so long since she's actually had a romantic relationship that it is strange to her.
Yeah, she's got it's almost that they're two phobics. They're both phobic about certain things. Like he's phobic because he's like and he's idolised, and she's phobic towards that kind of thing of being idolised. It's like the worst possible combination. Like his thing is almost what she's the most phobic about.
Yeah.
But she closes her windows. That would help.
Yes, exactly. She could draw curtains. Yes.
It's like that would have solved all the problems of this story.
Yes, I mean, if you haven't seen any Decalogues, you might be getting the idea that there's grey areas in all these episodes. That's kind of, they're all kind of moral quandaries, and there's no black and white answers, and that's what makes them so good.
Yeah, but he also could have not broken in and stole a telescope.
Yes,
that is like that's too much preparation for something.
Yes, the binoculars weren't enough.
You had to be able to sit down and view it. So But I'm trying to avoid making any more jokes because it's so tempting. This one.
Yeah, because it's not a comedy. It's quite.
But it's funny though. It's really funny.
It's funny.
And I think he knows it's funny.
Yeah.
He doesn't put jokes in there though, but he lets the situation be humorous as you're watching. Plus, the lead actor, he seems to know the funny side of his character, and he doesn't play it up, but he allows it to happen without overdoing it. Like he's not fighting against it in any way. He's just letting it happen and letting you interpret some of the things he does as funny.
Yes.
Which is, I think it's a very good performance. The lead actor, I think he's really good, but he's in a very difficult part because you can find him pathetic. Yeah. And you never find him pathetic, you just find him sad. He's a sad person who hasn't been trained in, again, like the character from Killing, he's been kind of abandoned by society. No one seems to care about him, so it's like, do what you want to do. Yeah. It's like, he's just a number for people. He's just somebody, go do this job and don't talk to me, that's all you're good for.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I like it so much, because I identify with him.
Yeah.
That's probably not something you want to admit to, but...
So where's the telescope?
Yeah, I don't have a telescope though.
Yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sad character. It's quite nice, but the woman herself is like, she's like a person who knows she's got flaws, but doesn't want to talk about them that much, really. She just doesn't want to talk about anything. Like, she's very matter of fact, but I think if you go too far where she'll hit back, because she does that to the guy. It's like as soon as he starts providing anything that's with her that's sensitive to her, she fights back really quickly and really brutally.
Yes.
So she's got a lot of areas where she's got a lot of defences.
And then, of course, in the end of the Decalogue episode, as she becomes more fascinated with him and where is he and when's he due back, then she finally goes to the post office and he's back there with his bandages on his wrist, and then he pretty much says, I'm not going to peep at you anymore.
Yeah.
So she's then left with that.
Yeah, she's left with a wound by... She's been trying to avoid that kind of wound by just sleeping with people she doesn't know that well, and she gets it anyway. It's like a romantic wound she didn't want to have, and now she's got it because of this guy and his obsessions. Because she's left the idea of what she's lacking in her life.
Yeah.
And it's become to the fore of what's lacking in her life. Okay, so you're never quite sure where the guy's going to go. He could go anywhere. No. He's like really messed up. You never quite... He just seems like he's kind of stuck for me. Like, you're never quite sure he's going to get better.
Yes, because again, the difference between the scene when he asks her to go for an ice cream and it's shot very brightly as he's twirling the milk float about and almost knocking over the blank-faced man, the witness who appears in this episode as well, compared with how he looks like at the end with his wrist bandaged and he just looks completely a hollow shell.
Yeah, I just think he's going to go... I think he's going to go worse. I think it's going to be a cycle of problems for him. That's just my point of view.
Yes. And obviously the end of the theatrical version, Magda goes to Tomic's flat and looks through the telescope and sees the scene that we saw earlier in the film where she has a breakup with one of her lovers and she spills the milk, and then Tomic actually comes into frame and comforts her, and so that's a slightly more upbeat ending which the actress kind of asked for from Kieślowski for the theatrical cut compared to the more realistic ending of the Decalogue episode.
I like the other ending I prefer the cold.
Yeah, so that
it just feels more like both these films just seem so spare and focused. When it's the same with all of these, I don't think these two jump out at you as anything above the other ones. It just feels like they're all.
No, I mean they're all fantastic.
Yeah.
Not that I'm biased in anything, but
no, yeah, not at all.
No.
So that's the 2 episodes. You may have seen we've had some technical issues still, but we're working on it.
Yes,
We will get it fixed. It's slow but surely we're working it out. Thank you for watching.
yes. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you for episodes 7 and 8. And again, leave comments below if you've seen episode 5 and 6, and if you've seen the theatrical cuts, and which ones you prefer. We'd be interested to know. And thanks for watching.
Yep, thank you. Bye.
Bye.